Good day, I'm Dr. Ebony Lambito Alisa Divesa, and we will now be discussing how to tame tantrums, especially those children who have already passed infancy period. So like for example, a 1-year-old in your house, how do you tame those children? If you understand that children at this age does want independence, so they strongly would be doing the opposite that you want. Like for example, if you want them to stop doing things or playing, they would continue playing. But these actually children would also have separation anxiety because they still want to be near you, even though they have this sense of independence. This time during toddlerhood, the child still have difficulty communicating because as you can see, others have still difficulty telling you what he or she wants. So you have to look at your child eye level. So you bend down and then look at your child eye level and then tell him or her in a short, concise phrases your instructions. So the child would actually, most of the time, understand what you are saying by watching your lips and then evaluate your facial expressions. So you have to look your child eye level to capture the attention, and then the child would focus on you and then watch how you speak, interpret what you speak, and then watch or evaluate your facial expressions. And then make a good guess of what he or she really needs, and that would make him or her feel the feeling of respect. Okay, so that is essential to a child in those years of her or his life. So when you are talking to your child, don't do baby talk, okay? It may be adorable that you follow how the child speak, like goo gaga or who woo or wow or something like that. I mean, you're repeating what the child says, but it's really better that you pronounce it well, because even though the child doesn't speak that much better yet, he or she can still hear things, and then always look for the right pronunciation of that word. Okay, so talk with your child in an adult correct pronunciation, and avoid doing baby talk to your child, because even though it is actually adorable, but the child listens for the correct pronunciation. So the purpose of this phase of toddlerhood is for us to help the child to develop as a mature adult. Okay? At this age of toddlerhood, it doesn't mean that you said something or you have given instructions to a child, you always expect them to comply, because at this level, the child can actually do the exact opposite of your instructions. So it's okay in that a level of toddlerhood, because that's the actually normal milestone of the child, because those milestone is the autonomy versus shame and doubt. Okay, so it's better for the child to have that sense of autonomy. And then also, with regards to the safety of the child, like for example, for the environment, it is advisable for the child to have, in a single place, the child would have no more than 8 to 12 toys in a single place, and then store it in a low shelf basket or bins instead of a large chest box. Okay, so that's important things you should remember. It's also important for the child to have a consistent or establish a consistent routine. Like if you are actually having activities like when you are eating, you have to have an adequate transition cues in order for the child to adjust to the next activity. You have to actually explain what is expected and what will happen next. So what is expected. So like for example, when you're eating, you can actually tell your child that after eating, we can go outside and play. So you have to let the child know what is expected, that is to finish eating, and then what will happen next, that is to go outside and play. Okay, it's really important to know to identify the reasons of the tantrums of a child. So for the toddler, the usual reasons for emotional outbursts are physical discomforts such as hunger, tiredness, too hot or too cold, overstimulation, and then emotional discomfort like being insecure in a new environment. So it's very important to know the tolerance of your child, the discomforts, and to know what makes your child have emotional outbursts. So the toddler actually is still in the phase of innocently experimenting the cause of and effect of a lot of things. So you don't have to expect the child to have that polite social behavior, because the child is not actually still understand those kind of complexities. So the child still has explore things, experiment things, and does things that you may think that is not appropriate for an adult, but for a child, it's actually that phase must be overcome by the child, and it actually is the correct phase wherein the child experiments cause and effect. Like for example, throwing a bottle full of water, so the child actually understands, okay, that this what happens if I do this, and then okay, this is the I caused it, and then this is the effect. Okay, so okay, the child understands that what happens. Okay, then if the child actually does things that actually disappoints you or frustrates you, you just have to distract and redirect. So if the child is having an outburst or doing things that or pulling the cat's tail or something that makes you fearful, then you have to distract the child. You can actually point on things that the child will look at, and then give him another toy or something. You have to distract and redirect. Okay, so at this age, actually the toddler is more focused on what your physical actions and your movement, not on your words. Okay, so don't expect the child, you can discipline the child just by saying anything. Okay, like for example, if the child is having an outburst, or if you want the child to direct and distract and redirect, you can just carry your child to a new room, and then you focus on those other things inside that room. Okay, so you can do that. So the child will actually just focus on your physical actions and your movement rather than on your words. Examples of distract and redirect is like, for example, if the child is throwing hard toys, you can just tell your child, okay, do kabugat mani, do masakit kini siya. So you can actually throw things like, oh, I found something. It's something soft. Okay, you can actually give this to the child, and then you give another toy, and then let the child throw it. Okay, so if you also saw your child digging on the trash can, so you can explain to the child, look at the eye level, and then tell your child, oh, it's dirty, you can actually explore this. Okay, give a bin of toys or basket of toys that the child can explore. And like for example, if the child is wants to eat a lot of cookies or another cookie, and you want the child to stop, so what you can do is you can again distract and redirect. So for example, you have eaten already a cookie, so oh, I saw a bird outside, tweet tweet, saying, or something like that. You can redirect the child. So during tantrums, the child actually trusts you enough in order to show you what he or she really feels inside and not bottle them up. Okay, so it is our responsibility as parents that we have to help the child manage his or her own emotions. We have to know that the usual reasons for tantrums are getting not enough sleep, tiredness, overstimulation, sleepiness, wants independence or disruption of routine. So those are actually reasons for the tantrums. Her emotional outbursts of sadness, anxiety, and anger can be showed by kicking, lying on the floor, crying, shouting. Okay, so those flail their arms, those are actually tantrums. Okay, so what you can help them by just being patient and calm. So that's one of the reasons how you can show your emotional quotient and self-control in front of your child, because usually the child would internalize those patience and those calmness from you. Okay, so if the child is having a tantrum, it's better for you to be calm and then empathize. Let the child feel that you are concerned and you want to know what he or she is feeling, and then observe the body language or the expression of the child. What does he or she needs at that time? And then communicate to her in a short, simple phrases, or assure her with saying, I love you, okay, I'm here lang, or you can actually hug your child or rub the back, okay. For those who are toddlers who are breastfeeding, then it's better to have that self-soothing nursing of the mother to the child, so you can actually do the breastfeeding, okay. So the child can nurse to those breastfeeding mothers. Okay, so it's also important for you to let the child have an outburst, okay. Usually at the peak of those outbursts, you don't have to interrupt. Let the child express his or her emotions, and then just be calm and don't walk away. Stay close to the child, and then when the child calms down, then that's the time you can actually talk to the child. Okay, so don't be frustrated if the child would not respond well to your efforts, because the child is having a tantrum and have difficulty managing his or her emotion. After recovery from tantrum, you can actually the most effective technique is to distract and redirect technique. So you can actually let the child you can put your child in your lap, you can cuddle your child, you can read stories, or put your child in your lap and then you hum a tune, okay. So this time is actually after tantrum is a bonding, and then it's actually time for honesty and affection. Okay, it's really important for you to know if the child is having enough sleep. So having a good bedtime sleep is also important to have the children to be less irritable and less grouchy, or if the child is having physical aggression. Usually the reason is having not enough sleep. If you notice your child to be grouchy or being over hyper or hyperactive, then one of the reason is overtiredness. So you have to know if the child have good enough sleep, because usually a better sleep can improve the child's mood, okay. But you must understand that it is really important, because it's a physiologic need, the sleep, okay. For those who want to let the baby listen for a classical music that the baby can relax, or you can also relax with this music, then I have prepared a music for the brain. So it's good for improvement of the brain, also for relaxation, okay. So please listen to my music for the brain video. So always remember that this is a stage of independence. So the child usually have these bodily functions that she or he can control, like for example sleeping, eating, and toileting. That's why those are one of our struggles, like letting the child sleep. So if you want for your child to sleep, then have a sleeping routine, like let the baby have comfort pillows or blankets before going to sleep. Make sure the child is not hungry, wet, and there is also night awakenings, which is common at this age, toddlerhood. So the child may be hungry, wet, or have difficulty settling to go back to sleep. So you can actually change the diaper, you can let the child drink milk, and then you can rub the child or rock the child, whatever is suitable or makes you comfort the child. So this is important for you to do, because at this age the child actually needs your compassion and your love. During eating time, it's better for you to model your behavior, and you have to let the child eat with you and your family as well, in order for the child to observe what are the behaviors, how you eat, how you behave in a table manner. Okay, and it's also important for those who are picky eater. If the child refuses the food, just let the food be available anytime. Okay, don't just let the food be unavailable and remove the food. Okay, let the child have variety of food, and don't let the child just give what the child wants or what are the food preference. Just have the variety of foods in front of him or her. And then also let the child participate in the preparation of food, or let the child have that independence that he or she has her own plate, and then she will eat. The child will actually choose what kind of food she will eat or what amount of food she will eat. Okay, so let the child have independence. So that's the important thing you need to help the child to learn during eating. Okay, don't threat the child, bribe, or negotiate with the child, because it actually does the exact opposite. And the more the child feels that he or she is being forced to do something, that child will be less compliant to what you want him or her to do or to eat. Okay, so toddlerhood is still experiencing the experimenting of cause and effect. And during mealtime, you can observe your child to be dropping foods or slinging foods or throwing things. So those dropping and throwing skills can is still practiced by the child even during eating. So for it to be less of a problem, you can just give a little amount of food in his or her plate let the child eat, and just accept if it's messy. It's okay if it's messy, because the child is still learning. Okay, so if you observe that the child is already dropping food after eating, then it may be an indication that the child is eating and the child is already ready for playtime. So you can distract and redirect. So let the child get the child from the table area or the dining area, and help the child play with his or her toys, and continue the throwing and the dropping skills there outside the area for eating. Okay, this also is the area where there is also the child experience physical aggression, but no matter what the child behaves, the child is still innocent at this stage. Okay, this is still the stage to the child test boundaries, experiencing the sensations, exploring sensations, and also getting your attention. So if the child is hurting something, and then it's better for you to calm down. So if the child is actually showing aggressive behaviors, don't overreact. Okay, so don't let the child see your fear, frustration, your anger, because it actually invites battle. So it doesn't help your child. So look at your child, eye level, and talk to your child in a calm manner, and let the child know that you are an authority, you have that confidence that the child is doing it wrong. Let also show the child how to do it right. Okay, so model the behavior. Okay, if the child is hurting an animal or something, let the child see how you behave or how you pet that animal, like dog, cats. Okay, so model to the child what is the right behavior. Okay, so this is actually the purpose of toddlerhood, for us to guide the children how to become mature adults. Thank you for watching. So if you have learned things that you can use in your family, friends, loved ones, share this information and apply this in order to have a more helpful childhood for those children, and make our world a better place. Okay, so don't forget to subscribe for more updates. Okay, thank you. God bless.